It finally happened. The Milwaukee Bucks won a game and they beat the Utah Jazz to improve now to 2 wins on the season. And it was in the backs of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, but also in the backs of a couple of guys that John Horst drafted and developed. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're a part of the 80% that aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is the place to be for daily Bucks content, and we're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news throughout the entire season. So it would mean the world to myself if you'd hit that button. But let's dive into it, everybody. The Bucks finally got a win. It has been so long. It's been since opening night, so almost a month ago, or a few weeks ago, when obviously they beat the Sixers. But that's not the point. The point of this video is the Milwaukee Bucks won a game, and they beat the Utah Jazz. And coming into this game, the biggest storyline was there's a few different storylines, but again, we're going to dive, there's a lot of things to dive into here, stay tuned. But the biggest storyline was this: the Milwaukee Bucks made a change by inserting high-flying Andre Jackson Jr., Ajax, into the starting lineup in place of Gary Trent Jr. for tonight's game against the Utah Jazz. So coming into the game today, the big storyline was, hey, and Doc Rivers actually made a move, and they got rid of Gary Trent Jr. in the starting lineup. So what that means is that, hey, they're going to give one of the guys that John Horst drafted, one of the, younger players, a chance to actually compete and actually do something for this group. And he did a very solid job. Let's dive into the box score. So starting lineup was Dame, and Giannis was back. He is back from his injury. So Dame, Giannis, who's back from injury, Brook Lopez, Andre Jackson Jr., and Taurean Prince. Now on the stat sheet, it wasn't a terrible game by any means for Andre Jackson Jr. points-wise. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and get a load of this, he had 4 steals, and so did Dame. So we saw tonight the backcourt, for Damian Lillard and Andre Jackson Jr. looked very, very good. They looked absolutely phenomenal tonight. And obviously, Damian Lillard's always going to be that guy who's going to score points. He went 12 for 22. He gave you 34. He gave you that little scoring boost and jump that you desperately needed. Giannis, same thing, 31 points, and he actually shot good from the free throw line tonight, which was something that was also desperately needed. But what Andre Jackson Jr. gave you was defensive effort, and among many other things, he gave you some grit and he gave you some athleticism coming off of the bench over the past few games, finally getting his chance, and he did not disappoint. And again, he's not going to jump off the stat sheet, but if you watch the game and you watched his tenacious defense, his ability to get steals, his ability to just blend in with the starting lineup, which he did a lot better than Gary Trent Jr. did, quite frankly. And Gary Trent Jr. tonight played 8 minutes. He was a minus 14. So this is we'll have a whole video covering the Gary Trent Jr. situation. It is really bad, but the fact that Andre Jackson Jr. has outplayed him, AJ Green, who we'll dive into as well today, outplayed him completely. It's at the point now where they are in a very interesting spot with Gary Trent Jr. because they signed him to the 1-year deal, and he's been absolutely terrible. But the positives of this game are a few things. Let's dive into this. Horst cooked, obviously, by getting AJ Green and drafting Andre Jackson Jr. I don't think we can overstate how much the Bucks window extends if these two are legit players. It changes everything both now and going forward. And again, we'll have multiple videos covering all these things. But for Andre Jackson Jr., phenomenal game defensively. Offense will continue to come. AJ Green, 18 minutes, 12 points, a plus 13. He has been lights out from 3 to start the season. He had that game where he went 7 for 9 from 3 just a couple games ago, sorry. He's been so good. And Andre Jackson Jr. alongside AJ Green, if these guys can be a great young pair, obviously AJ Green is 25 years old, then this will be huge for the Milwaukee Bucks, because their biggest thing now, and what limits them the most, is of course their timeline. They have Dame, they have Giannis. Giannis is fairly young. Dame is 34 years old. So after Dame, who's going to be the next man up? Is it going to be Andre Jackson Jr.? Is it going to be AJ Green? If AJ Green can develop into the point guard of the future for this team, that would change everything going forward. And it resulted in Delon Wright, who they signed in the offseason, getting a DNP. The two main signings, the big signings, were obviously Taurean Prince, Gary Trent Jr., and Delon Wright. Delon Wright hasn't been playing very much at all, and he's been mid at best. He's been fine. Gary Trent Jr. has been an absolute disaster. He was probably their biggest acquisition. Everybody thought that he was actually coming off of a 13 to 14 point per game season. They thought that he was actually going to be able to do something positive for the team and actually help push them into contending status. But what actually happened was AJ Green and Andre Jackson Jr. have turned into the two players that have been the most effective and the most efficient in their time played with the Bucks. And what that turned into tonight, phenomenal game, and it's very great. And like Nathan Marzion says here, Ajax just makes the right plays, navigating screens, staying in front, getting the ball to Giannis in transition, not doing anything out of his realm. And what that means is that when you watch them play the games, he's not forcing. Gary Trent Jr. at times has been forcing, and when he's not giving you buckets, Gary Trent Jr. is not giving you anything else. He's not giving you offense. if he's not giving you offense, he's not giving you playmaking, he's not giving you rebounding, and he really hasn't been giving you defense. But with Andre Jackson Jr., even if he isn't scoring the most, he's making the right pass, he's getting rebounds, he's crashing the glass, he's playing pesky defense, getting you 4 steals, and he'll make an impact every single night. And he's one of the best on-ball defenders the team has. So when Doc Rivers, prior to the game and adding him to the starting 5, he commented, quote, "Just be an athlete, be quick to the ball, defend, understand your role. He's got to be a roller, a great slot cutter, play from the dunker spot at times on offense, and he's got to be disruptive without fouling on defense." This was before the game, and boy, did he do exactly that. He was a disruptor. We saw him in the dunk spot a couple times, getting some 2s. 4 steals on the night is incredible, and that's exactly what Doc wanted. Fouling, do not foul on defense, but be disruptive. And he was disruptive getting steals. He would go to the break. He would give it to the best fast break player in basketball, in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who loves playing downhill. It was a absolute masterclass of a game. And speaking of masterclasses, Damian Lillard continues to absolutely ball. I mean, look at his last 5 games. He has 33s, 41 points, 33 points, 36 points, 34 points, 30 points. It's at a point now where it's like, Dame is going to be Dame. He is a phenomenal player. Doesn't matter that he's 34 years old. If the other guys can be role players and play alongside them, that's where the big difference is going to happen. Whether that's Dame giving you 34, Giannis giving you 31. And again, the starting lineup, the offense was not, I mean, Brook Lopez took 2 shots in 32 minutes. But what mattered is Andre Jackson was able to be effective in his minutes. Bobby Portis had a solid game. Again, his defense is still horrible, but he's getting better slowly, at least at the offensive side of the ball. AJ Green was able to give you the spark off the bench offensively that you desperately needed. Because if you look at it, your bench now, your 2 main guys off the bench, and AJ Green, and of course Bobby Portis, gave you 31 points. If you combine that with 30 and 35 from Giannis and Dame, you're looking into a decent lineup then. And if Gary Trent Jr. can get it going, if Andre Jackson can get more comfortable and actually play his role continually to improve in his role offensively, then the sky is the limit for this team. And coming into this game, they had the worst bench net rating so far this season. And that's going to slowly, hopefully, start to change if AJ Green can continue and Bobby Portis can continue to play fairly well. Bobby Portis has not been good, even in his games. Tonight was fine, but even in his earlier games, the 21-18 game, his defense was so lackluster against Brooklyn that it didn't matter. And he gave up the game-winning layup against Jared Allen, or was it a dunk? Whatever it was, the game-winning bucket against Jared Allen. And obviously, Jared Allen's the better player, but still. At the end of the day, the Bucks are in a very solid spot. You guys saw some great things out of their young guys, AJ Green, Andre Jackson Jr., and if they can continue to do this and continue to pair well with Dame and Giannis, maybe they've actually found their secret combo, which is something that they desperately need, which their starting lineup has been absolutely brutal, but Andre Jackson Jr., it was his night to shine, and he shined with the opportunity. No, he didn't have 25 points, but he was a plus 19, had some steals, and they finally got a win. And that's going to pay big dividends going forward. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of this. We'll keep you updated with all the latest Bucks news. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. See you soon.